everyone, this is my presentation. I did my interview over a family friend who's from Colombia, and so this is the homepage, and I did my project over Colombia. So if you click this tab, it talks about Colombia, and I talk about how it's like where it's located, what it looks like. As an example, mountains. I talked about the religion, which is Christianity, and how family, dance, and music are important aspects of the lives of the Colombians. And this is going to go into further more detail in the culture part, so you can scroll down, and this is a little collage that I made to kind of get a feel of what Colombia looks like. There's the map, and I also included a picture of the soccer team because right now it's the World Cup in Russia, and sadly I think they lost and that they're no longer in the finals, but I wanted to include them. So if you click this tab, it's about culture, and here's a picture, and I added 3 of the aspects that I mentioned earlier. So the first one is music. So if you click it, it takes you to this page about Shakira, who is a famous singer, songwriter, and dancer. She was born in Colombia. She actually did the songs for the 2010 and 2014 World Cup. Not exactly sure why she didn't do it this year, but she did it for the past 2. So I wanted to include her, as she's, as I mentioned, from Colombia. So if you click that tab, it'll take you back to culture. And here I have another tab called dance. And so I inserted 2 pictures of 2 different types of dance that I talked about. The first one is, I'm not exactly sure if I'm saying this right, called Bambuco. It is a traditional dance, and it's a couples dance that's very similar to the waltz. And then this one called the cumbia is also another popular dance in Colombia, and it mimics the courtship, and the women wear long colorful outfits and the men wear white clothing, as you can see, with their hats. And this is also a very popular dance in Colombia. So if you click that tab, you go back to culture. And so the other aspect I talked about was family. I found a picture online of this Colombian family wearing their soccer jerseys and their cute little dog. And so family is the most important aspect of Colombia. They are very close to their family, very loyal, and they put their families before themselves. So the household structure that I researched was that it's mainly made up of multi-generational family members, which means that in the household there's the children, the parents, and the grandparents. And this is very similar to my culture, where it's not really required, but it's expected for the children to take care of their parents once they're no longer able to live alone. And then another thing I talked about was dating and marriage. And as I said, Colombia is really religious and very into the Catholic Church. So marriage is heavily influenced by the church. And I also saw that the legal age for marriage is 18, but you're also allowed to marry at the age of 12 with parental consent, although many do not marry at a young age. So you click that tab and you can go back to culture, and then on the top I have information about the interviewee. As I mentioned, I interviewed a family friend who lives in Florida, but she's from Colombia. She actually works with my mom, and so here I added some of the questions that I asked her. And right here I asked her, what are some of the differences between your culture and the culture of the United States? And she said that in Colombia we have more time spent with friends and family compared to in the United States. So she means that they go out of their way to hang out with not only their immediate family, but also their extended family. And another thing I found interesting was how I mentioned already that you're allowed to get married at the age of 12 with parental consent. I asked her how her parents played a role in dating, and she said none because they were really strict, and she was only allowed to date when she was 19. So this tab is my compare and contrast. I found a lot more similarities than contrast when doing my research. So one of the similarities I found was that both the interviewee and the research I did on Colombian culture mentioned how dancing is a popular activity and extremely important, which I mentioned in my interview with her. I asked her what she does on her free time, and she says it's to dance, and it's also a really big entertainment. And then one of the contrasts that I found was that, as I mentioned already, Colombia is very religious, but my interview does not practice any religion. And this tab is my references. And so about my interviewee, she's a family friend, as I mentioned. She works for my mom. She was born in Colombia and came to the United States in 1996 when she got her visa. And so I asked her a couple of questions about that. And one of the questions I asked her was if she had any trouble assimilating into the American culture. And she said no, that she assimilated perfectly fine, but the only thing that she did find was challenging was the measurements and learning the language. And she also has children. So I asked her if she is focusing more on a Colombian aspect for raising them, or if she's doing United States culture, but she said that she's involving both because she thinks that there are good things with both cultures, as well as the fact that they're not living in Colombia, so it's important for them to understand where they come from. And another question that I also asked that was really interesting, I asked her if she would ever go back to Colombia and live there, and she said no, that she enjoys the United States a lot, and that she wants to stay here because there's a lot more opportunity, and that she found it to be a lot more organized, which I also found was really interesting because since she was born there, I would think that she would want to go back, but she is enjoying her time here in the United States. So this is my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun learning more about the Colombian culture, as I didn't really know much before. It's pretty similar to the Hispanic culture, or the Mexican culture, I mean, which is where my mom's from. But I had a great time learning more about it. Thank you.